Jacob was alone at the bus stop thinking about Sophie. The wait for the bus seemed really short, even though he had actually been sitting there for half an hour. He got into the bus, pushed open the window, and let the chilly breeze pat his face. Jacob mulled over his situation. He had a fiancée that he didn't know much about, except that she was attractive and her heart was in the right place. Second, he was now a part of a dragon clan that he didn't know much about either. Soon, he would become a dragon himself. Lots of work, and not a whole lot of time to do it. It suddenly struck him that he had forgotten to ask Dracon about their clan, or anything about the cultivation techniques. He just met Sophie's parents as their future son-in-law, and spent some time with his future wife. Sophie's father seemed quite cold, but he did shoulder a lot of responsibility as a mortal and as a dragon king. It was normal for someone of his stature to have a tough exterior. Sophie's mother was a very kind and intelligent woman, and that's it. That's all Jacob knew about them. Don't tell me that from now on I have to go to their house for dinner every night. Jacob shook his head as his new reality dawned on him. He realized he would now be Sophie's tutor, and he was unprepared. As the bus drove through the shopping district, Jacob decided to make a stop. He walked into the Fairview bookstore and carefully browsed the high school education section. After searching amongst the countless study guides on the shelves, Jacob purchased some textbooks on English grammar. Walking out of the bookstore with a bundle of books in his hands, Jacob was covered in sweat. He pitied the high school students who had to work so hard and carry around heavy textbooks. As Jacob strutted back to his bus stop, he suddenly realized that the news about him being picked up by the limousine would have spread to every student. If he went back now, he wouldn't be able to get away from their endless questions. Jacob liked to keep a low profile and didn't want to get too much attention from anyone. But recent events had made him one of the most popular boys in college. He immediately made the decision to go home instead and caught the first bus in sight. The bus ride was bumpy, but Jacob didn't care. He silently watched the twilight descending into night as he clutched the study material in his hands. His thoughts were interrupted by a call on his cell phone. It was Sam. Jacob picked up the phone, and before he could say anything, Sam began yelling.
Jacob, why aren't you back yet? Where the hell are you? It's getting late.
I'm going home today, Sam. I'm tired. Jacob knew Sam would be waiting for him.
Ooh, tired, huh? Looks like our dude had a great time today.
Sam's voice went from concern to playful in seconds.
What on earth was going on during the day? You left us all in shock, mystery man.
Nothing really. It was the same uncle from last time, asking me to have a meal at his home. Jacob answered casually.
Are you kidding me? You get picked up in a limousine and the old man tells you that you need to meet your fiancée, and you say nothing's going on? Come on, man, tell me more.
Sam kept insisting. He was clearly excited to know everything. Sam went on to convince Jacob to confide in him, but Jacob knew he couldn't talk to anyone about his new world. He sighed silently as Sam went on. Nothing major is going on, Sam, I promise. Jacob said when Sam finally let him talk. I am just a bit tired, so I'm gonna spend the night at my house. I'll tell you everything on Sunday.
Fine, we will wait for you to come back and continue our interrogation. We're not letting you off the hook so easily.
Sam hung up the phone. Jacob was actually a little frustrated by Sophie's family picking him up in a limo, unannounced. He wished that he could keep their interactions a secret. The way they acted was so eye-catching that it drew a ton of unwanted attention. But who could ever imagine how different their identities really are? The biggest geniuses of the world often lie to conceal their mission. But by keeping such a low and mysterious profile, it may draw even more attention from others. Jacob continued to wonder long after Sam had hung up on him. Jacob wanted to stop thinking about his new dragon-in-laws for a bit, so he checked his cell phone. He wasn't surprised to see Sam's dozen messages and proceeded to delete them. There were a few from his class president Kathy as well. He sighed as he deleted those too. What was the point? He already had a fiancée. Jacob laid his head against the bus window and took a nap. It was very late at night when he got home. His grandma was surprised to see him, because he never came home at such a late hour. But she was happy with the surprise and gave Jacob a big hug. He felt so light and unburdened in her presence that he almost blurted out the news about Sophie. But he bit his tongue and decided to keep it a secret for now. After spending the weekend peacefully with his grandma, he planned to go back to the university on Sunday evening so he could avoid the crazy gossip that must be going around about him. The big pile of snacks his grandma sent wasn't enough to keep Sam, Nick, and James off his back. Hearing that Jacob was back, even the guys from other dorms flooded over.
Hey man, you made such a big scene. Getting picked up by a limousine? I heard that even the rich boy Malcolm from the advanced class doesn't get such a treatment,
said Trevor, who had welcomed himself into Jacob's dorm.
We heard about the fiancé. We know everything. Don't try to hide anything from us,
said another uninvited classmate.
Even the girls were talking about you. They were saying that your family is filthy rich. Tia, a senior, who didn't even know you existed, can't stop talking about you. Don't tell me that you hired some people in order to cause a sensation. Dude, you seem quiet at the university, but you actually meet a lot of girls outside of campus, don't you? Oh yeah? That girl from the cafeteria was cute. What was her name?
They were beginning to take it too far, but Jacob could only listen to them helplessly.
All right. Stop making things up.
Jacob finally spoke up.
Look, it was a practical joke set up by one of my old friends. The limousine freaked me out too. I know it looked like a big scene, but it really wasn't. I'd tell you guys, wouldn't I?
Jacob heard the murmurs dying out, and then said,
How about we all go out to eat? My treat.
The guys were all disappointed because there was no gossip, but they all got excited about the free meal. They all rushed out of the dorm building, dragging Jacob along. Although most of them had eaten already, they couldn't resist the invitation for cheeseburgers at the diner close by. Jacob had no choice but to shell out some money to end the drama. After what seemed like a night of endless gluttony, Jacob was duly informed about the gossip that happened after he had left in the limousine. They told him that not just Jacob's classmates, but the entire college was talking about him. The roommates spread the news about the mysterious fiancée, and everyone took guesses at who she could be. Bets were being placed in secrecy. They were all set to rag Jacob, but he never showed up this weekend, so they couldn't. Jacob silently thanked his lucky stars. Having dined and wined to satiety, the boys began to leave. Jacob was left with Sam, Nick, and James. They were heading back to their dorm room, talking and laughing loudly with their arms around each other's shoulders. The boys were a little drunk, after being served alcohol at the diner thanks to their fake IDs. The four of them stopped dead in their tracks as they ran into Vice Principal Liam and some other teachers of the university. The adults were inspecting the dorms. Seeing the Vice Principal up close, the roommates became quiet. They were silently waiting for a scolding from him. To everyone's surprise, the Vice Principal smiled and waved at them, even though he saw that they were all drunk. Liam walked by them along with the other teachers, and the guys exchanged shocked looks with each other.
Did I just see the Vice Principal wave at us?
James asked Sam, who seemed to have sobered up as soon as he saw the group of teachers. The other three simply stood there in shock, wondering about what had just happened. They thought that the Vice Principal would yell at them after knowing that they went out drinking, or would at least come up to them and ask which major and class they were from. But he just waved.
Strange things happen every year in this college, but they sure are stranger this year.
Sam let out a sigh of relief.